save the bees? How can trash be turned into handbags? And can feeding cows seaweed help change the world? If you have questions about the climate, there's one place to find the answers. Rely on the most trusted name in television, the Weather Channel, and its innovative pattern climate team. Together we can start to make sense of the most important issue facing our future. Every day on the Weather Channel.
Breaking right now, we are continuing to track a line of severe weather, including damaging winds in excess of 80 miles per hour and tornadoes as well. We've got multiple warnings in effect as this powerful system works its way across southern Minnesota into Iowa, stretching down into Kansas and Missouri as well. We've got a lot of active warnings right now. Wall-to-wall tornado warnings almost covering north to south here in the state of Iowa, and this line is ripping eastward very quickly. There is not a lot of time to seek shelter with these, so you need to get to your safe place well in advance of when these warnings hit. Now, we've got a dangerous situation unfolding here that we want to talk about in central Iowa, just on the west side of the Des Moines metro area, including you in Guthrie Center. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately, as we are getting reports of an observed tornado here to the west of Guthrie Center. So this includes you in Dallas, Greene, and Guthrie counties until 6 o'clock local time. And it's somewhere within this area that we're seeing some of that strong rotation. Switching over to our velocity mode so we can see some of those winds. Now, I did see a pretty strong signature just in that commercial break, but I'm not seeing it as prominently right now. But there are several areas within here that we could be having rotating storms. In addition to that, we've got a lot of rain associated with this and strong gusty winds. So if and when there is a tornado, it is going to be very difficult to see that. Trust the warnings here tonight for sure. Now, we've got multiple warnings to the north of there as well, including you up towards Audubon into Carroll, stretching farther to the north until 5:45 for you in Anita and Exira. We were seeing that strong signature near Exira earlier also. Now, notice we've got the yellow box here too. That is a severe thunderstorm warning, so that's now been issued in advance of that line that includes the Des Moines metro area. So I know the sirens are sounding in some of these areas. I know they're sounding right now in spots that don't have tornado warnings on them. For example, in Story County, which is just north of Des Moines, that's because the winds are likely going to be around 80 miles per hour, all within that squall line. So I would treat all warnings tonight as tornado warnings and get to your safe place, the lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows. So let's time this out right now and see when that line is going to make its way towards Des Moines here, because we want to give you a better idea, because the timing has been a little bit changeable because the speeds of the storms have been a little bit varying, but also extremely fast. So there you can see the latest showing that squall line could be arriving in Des Moines maybe just after 6 o'clock. I would be in my safe place right now. Ames about the same timing for you as well as into Colfax. So get to your safe place again, lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows. This is a really strong, impressive line of storms that has been tracking eastward. This developed about the early afternoon hours around 2-3 o'clock, and it has been holding strong ever since that time. Want to take you down into Kansas and Missouri. This is St. Joseph. Kansas City is about right there at the bottom of your screen, where we've got a new tornado warning here for Atchison, Buchanan, and Doniphan counties. That includes you in St. Joe, as well as Country Club and Shannon. That's until 5:30. So St. Joe, that is just off to your west at this time. And then severe thunderstorm warnings extending south of there through Leavenworth and over towards Excelsior Springs. And we want to get to our meteorologist, Mike Seidel. And Mike, I know that line is off towards the west of you right now, but you've got to be feeling those winds already, and probably going to need to take shelter here pretty soon too, Mike.
Yes, we've got our safe place over here at the hotel, and we will be heading over there shortly. We're keeping an eye off to the south and west across the runways and the airport here in Des Moines. We're on the southwest side. So far, I'm still looking for my first flash of lightning. So we're not, it's not imminent, but certainly in the next half an hour, there is now a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Metro Des Moines, the whole area, until 6:30. These storms are moving east at 80 miles an hour. That's crazy, 80 miles an hour, so you can't outrun them. And a good point that Jackie mentioned is treat all these storms like they are tornado warned. Even though we're under that there could be a spin up. These things are spinning up so fast, it's really hard with the scans for the Weather Service to get all the, it's a lot of work. It's not like watching a tornado like last Friday that's been on the ground for miles and miles. So just assume all these storms are extremely dangerous, not only from the tornado factor, but straight line winds could gust up to or over 80 miles an hour. We've seen plenty of that this evening. The rain impact is going to be minimal. These things are moving so fast, the line is so narrow that it's not going to be a problem. It's all about the wind, potential structural damage. As I mentioned earlier, already over 250,000 customers without power, so trees and power lines down, power outages here in the Des Moines area, and then points east. And even once the line goes through, we're going to have strong winds right on through later on this evening. We're staying with you right on through this evening on the Weather Channel. An update coming up after a break on the tornado threat as we head east tonight.
Pressuritis.
My new video into the Weather Channel where you can see and hear the powerful winds that have been rocking through eastern Nebraska and now working their way across parts of Iowa. Wind gusts reported as strong as 93 miles per hour as this blew through Omaha. Spotty damage, mostly tree damage, and some power outages across the metro area. And now you've got strong winds that are going to continue here through the evening as well. Got a lot going on tonight with a very vigorous upper low that's working its way through the Midwest. Very unusual to have such an extreme event taking place in this part of the country this time of the year. We've got many tornado warnings that are in effect right now from nearly the Iowa-Minnesota state line all the way down into parts of Missouri, but the main line is right here working its way towards the Des Moines metro area, and that's one of the concerns that we have here at this hour. So we want to get you through some of these warnings that stretch from Spencer all the way down into parts of Dallas County. There have been some reports of tornadoes tonight that have caused some damage. They've been short-lived tornadoes, one of which has been crossing Interstate 80 earlier and flipped over a tractor trailer, very likely. But this whole line I would be treating as a tornado warning, even if you're under the severe thunderstorm warning, because it gives you an idea of just how strong and how powerful those winds are. Now, we did have a report of a tornado on the north and west side of Guthrie Center. That's one of the areas that we're watching very closely right now. That area of rotation is now north and east of the city. These storms are moving so quickly, you can't outrun them, you can't outdrive them. You just need to get to your safe place well before these warnings are issued here. It's one of those afternoon evenings where it's just a good idea if you have a basement just to hang out there, play video games, read books, watch the Weather Channel, and be down there with the kids. So that's the concern, and you can see the warning still indicating observed for Dallas, Greene, and Guthrie County. So Kenora and Perry, you're next in line. That jumps out at me right there. That's one of the areas that I'm watching. Within that line south of there, I'm not seeing a whole lot, just some very strong winds. So there may be a couple of different areas of embedded rotation. That's to the north and east of Bayard. So you do want to take your tornado precautions. This is what we call a correlation coefficient. And when you see everything solid the same color, you know that that's just uniform rainfall. But when we start to see some of those little dropouts or those little ticks, that tells us that there might be something else. We know the strong wind certainly going to be blowing things around like trees and branches and that type of thing. So that's going to be the concern going forward, because there have been a lot of reports of that already from Nebraska through Iowa, even in advance of that main line. So I want to time things out for you here and give you a better idea of when that main line might be hitting the Des Moines metro area. We know you've already had strong enough wind gusts in Johnston, which is north and west of Des Moines, well ahead of the main line that caused some spotty power outages in that area. So the latest timing right now, we think, is for Perry at 5:43, moving through Waukee at 5:52, Des Moines at 6:07, Altoona at 6:13, and then working its way towards Newton at 5:34. So again, I just want want to urge you all to treat the severe thunderstorm warning for the Des Moines metro area as a tornado warning, because Chris, there could be little spin-ups embedded within this line, but in addition to that, winds could be as strong as 80 miles per hour or so, and we've seen, unfortunately, over and over again in Iowa, for example, what kind of damage those types of wind can cause. It can be as much sometimes as tornado damage.
That's right, and I want to give you the big picture here, the overall look at this storm, just how big it is right now and what's going on with it. So as we look at the radar, you can see the blue. This is all snow. These are cold northerly winds coming down, and this is also some strong winds coming out of the southwest and out ahead of it more southerly. But right here, interaction is where the severe weather and tornado threat is right now. Tornado watch is now getting extended from the Storm Prediction Center. They now include parts of Illinois. They include the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and St. Paul in a tornado watch. Across Wisconsin, also over into parts of western Illinois. Also severe thunderstorm watches in effect. This is the overall look at the storm with some of the lightning associated with it. There's quite a bit. Plenty of instability here in December, all the way up to Wisconsin and into parts of Minnesota. You get in dew points into 50 to 16. There's plenty of moisture here for thunderstorms. It's like the fuel, much drier air and windier air coming in behind that. So that threat continues. Severe weather.
Breaking right now, we have several tornado warnings in effect across the state of Iowa, one of which has a confirmed tornado on it right now. We're seeing confirmation on Doppler radar and hearing reports now as well that there is likely a tornado with that storm. So we'll take you right now into that area. This is in the north and the west of the Des Moines area. We've got two different areas we're actually keeping our eye on. First of all, Dallas Green and Guthrie counties. That includes you in Perry. And then also up here towards Jefferson, and that's where we're concerned about here. Jefferson for Audubon, Carroll, and Greene counties. That would include you in Coon Rapids, Glidden, and Jefferson until 6 o'clock. There you can see the tag where it says observe. So we'll take you over to our correlation coefficient, and it actually looks like there may be two different areas of rotation. One on the north side of Jefferson and one now, which is almost due east. This is Highway 30. That's a pretty busy highway there in central Iowa, and this is just about to cross over Highway 30 to the east of Jefferson. If you know anyone that's in that area right now, please make sure that they are getting to their safe place immediately. Lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows. We've had a lot of little areas of rotation embedded within that line. This is 144 right there between Dana and Rippey. That's the area that we're talking about right here. This is pushing to the north and east, and it's moving very quickly, likely 70 to 80 miles per hour. So it's not going to take very long for this to cross Highway 30 and then work its way over eventually towards Highway 169. So a dangerous situation there just south of Highway 30 near Jefferson. This is in Carroll and in Greene counties. Now there are multiple warnings all up to the north of here as well, including you in Calhoun, Carroll, and Sac counties. That's where we're seeing a radar indicated tornado, including you in Lyton. And then north of there, this is a brand new tornado warning that's just been issued, including you in Humboldt and Pocahontas County, including the city of Pocahontas until 6 o'clock. And then north of there, including the town of Spencer, we've got a tornado warning for you in Clay County until 5:45. So all embedded within this line, we may get these little spin-ups. And take a look at what's happening down here. Ooh, these concern me. We've got some strong storms, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right around the Missouri-Iowa state line. I want to zoom in on those to get a better look at what's going on here, because we're definitely starting to see those mature with maybe a little bit of a hook feature down towards Grant City here, and then another one down near Cooper and Savannah. St. Joseph, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and so is Kansas City. There we go, getting tornado possible tags on some of these. So there you can see, looks like the National Weather Service is also seeing signs that there may be a little bit of rotation with those storms as well. I want to get out live right now to our meteorologist, Mike Seidel. Mike, you've been in Des Moines here all afternoon and evening now. The winds have been picking up here in the last hour already. Still some damage even before that line moves on through. What's the latest? What are you seeing?
We've seen a few flashes of lightning off to our south and west. That's the direction the storms are coming through from. And I don't know if you can hear the sirens. They just set the sirens off for the second time. We're not under a tornado warning, but we're in a situation where we have a very high risk that we could get a spin up within the severe thunderstorm warning. You can look at the radar, and those storms are racing east-northeast. So it's going to be a little later where we are on the southwest side of Des Moines. All the tornado warnings right now are north and west of Des Moines. Everything south and southwest of Des Moines, all the way down to KC, are severe thunderstorm warnings. That doesn't mean we can't have a tornado. I'm just saying that the instability and all the spin-ups and the tornadoes that we've seen have been west and north of Des Moines, like we're seeing right now out around Perry. And I've seen some video of a tornado crossing the road earlier. So here in Des Moines, this metro area, the severe thunderstorm warning continues until 6:30. Again, straight line winds as high as 80 miles an hour likely. Trees, power lines down, maybe some structural damage, a brief shot of heavy rainfall and some lightning. Even though the squall line will go through, we will have strong winds continuing behind that as we go through this evening. Right on through late this evening, the high wind warning, it continues until midnight tonight. So just because the front is coming through and the storms move through, unlike in the summertime, this is a very dynamic system. It's all wound up, so the wind is not going to go away right away. Seeing some lightning flashes, Chris, and we're about ready to move to our safe location. We'll keep you updated here on the Weather Channel as the winds pick up here outside of the airport here in Des Moines. Chris?
All right, meteorologist Mike Seidel, thank you for that.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Update you on the latest radar. I know, Chris, you're watching it. I'm watching it. There's a lot going on tonight. We got tornado warnings just north and west of Des Moines, and the severe thunderstorm warning with the sirens going off right now in Des Moines proper. If we could show the radar here, I really want to track this out and time this out and give you another idea of just how quick that squall line is going to be pushing through there, likely reaching Des Moines around 5:58, so just before the top of the hour. If you're not in your safe place right now, you need to get there. Waukee, this is just about on top of you right now. This is going to be affecting Indianola as well as Colfax and Newton, Iowa right now. We are going to continue to track these tornadoes and damaging winds right after this.
This is Antonelli's Tea Shop, and we're the Antonellis.